Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we'll talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, Fubara floors Wike at appeal court as Senate orders FCT minister to halt Abuja demolitions. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. Recall that the subscribers will be given priority, their comments will be given priority on this show. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and the ones based on the subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom, the master himself, Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju. Good to see you again this lovely evening, BKO.
Yes, good to see you, Brian. Good to do this with you and say a big thank you to our subscribers, our regular viewers for their faithfulness, for their love.
Right. So let us start off with Rivers because we have two issues, one in River State and the other one in Abuja. But let's start off with River State. The recent appeal court's judgment in favor of Governor Simlai Fubara against his predecessor, Nyesom Wike, marks a significant shift in the political dynamics of River State. But let's get your initial reaction to this judgment, Bikeo.
Long journey. This is a long journey, and the stage is that there will be all kinds of turbulence for the dramatics personnel. There will be setbacks, there will be victories, there will be moments of soul searching, of introspection, as we journey on in this battle of two brothers who now see one another, who now see each other as enemies. Sometimes Fubara will gain the upper hand. Another time, Wike will certainly gain the upper hand. I have said from the beginning that this battle can and will only be resolved by the judiciary. And from time to time, the judiciary will step in. Somebody will win. The other person will lick his wounds and start thinking of what he could do next to try and level up. Remember, before the council elections, Wike and his camp did everything possible, including enlisting the support of but the courts refused to stop the election. They tried to force INEC to not release the voters register of Rivers State so that the election will not hold. How do you conduct an election without a voter register? But in the end, despite all the obstacles thrown in his way, Governor Fubara went ahead to conduct the election. Remember, Wike is in firm control of the structures of the PDP in the state. That setback came just before the election. And what did we see? Governor Fubara got the caretaker chairman to contest on the platform of a rival party rather than the PDP. So Wike lost out at that point. Wike gained an upper hand when a court of competent jurisdiction and the appeal court took a bold decision on the matter of Amewule and his colleagues in respect of the budget of the state. And Governor Bora was told to go and present the budget to a properly constituted House of Assembly, not an House of Assembly of 3 persons, one of them speaker and 2 other persons as members. It's a very ridiculous situation to find oneself in, that 3 human beings will now call themselves the House of Assembly of Rivers State. The court has taken a decision on that. I think what is left now is to hear from the Supreme Court. So this is like a ding-dong affair, a kind of seesaw. Today, you gain an upper hand. Tomorrow, you lose another case. There are numerous cases. So this will go on. I am happy for one thing. The judiciary is described as the last hope of the ordinary man. We need the judiciary to maintain its independence. We need the judiciary to be able to give judgment at all times that will be in conformity with the letters of the Constitution, judgment that our people can relate with, that will please our people, even if they are at the losing end. They should be happy that justice has been done. That is what we want to see. And the appeal court in this case affirmed that the Federal High Court had no jurisdiction. We went further to say that in the split ruling, because 2 justices of the appeal court invalidated the order of the Federal High Court and affirmed that the lower court had no jurisdiction. The case was filed by Martin Amewule and co, who are loyalists of the FCT minister. And what the court said was that the fact that federal agencies were listed as parties does not confer the court with jurisdiction. As I always say, jurisdiction is everything. If you do not have jurisdiction, whatever ruling you give, whatever order you give, it is deemed a waste of time. So you must have jurisdiction to entertain a case in the first place. The High Court had restricted or restrained the CBN from further allowing Rivers State government to draw funds from the consolidated revenue account. And he listed as defendants entities like the CBN, Zenith Bank, Access Bank, and the rest of them. But as far as the Court of Appeal is concerned, that the lower court, the Federal High Court, did not have jurisdiction to entertain the matter, because this matter is related to budgetary issue as it affects Rivers State. So that was not the court for them to go to entertain, to bring up the matter in the first place. So having been told that they didn't have jurisdiction, whatever it is that the court came up with, whatever order it gave, is null and void. And that is what we have seen. So I have seen people affirm that the judgment of the appeal court has restored hope in the judiciary. The judgment of the appeal court is a very good one, and it affirms the federal nature of our country. What we do not want to see is the usual noisemakers. And some of the noisemakers are lawyers who hardly go to court. They don't have a good record of winning cases in court. They do all their legal practice on the pages of newspapers and in the studios of television stations, where when judgment goes against their client, their favored people, they will now tell us that the judiciary in Nigeria is useless. So if in spite of Wike being accused of building houses for judges and all that, judgment can go against him, as we have seen. And I'm certain that this will not be the last judgment that will go against him, then it means that we should keep faith in the judiciary. We should give the judiciary the opportunity to do its work rather than constantly attack the judiciary, especially when um, judgment goes against our desires and our wish. So this is my view. I'm happy that this matter has been laid to rest. So Wike would have occasions when he would defeat his boy, Fubara, and there will be occasions too when Fubara will have gain the upper hand through the courts. We still wait for the courts to affirm whether Martin Amewule and the others have indeed can be said to have lost their seats, having defected to having announced their defection to the ruling party, APC. Whether the court agree with them that they didn't take steps that naturally you take if you are defecting fully into the party, like going to register with that party at ward level. That is how you officially join the political party.
That's right. So, yeah.
So we wait to see. That judgment is very important. We wait to see what happens.
Well, given River State's history as a politically volatile region, many are watching closely to see whether this ruling will stabilize or further divide the state's political landscape. Do you think these judgments will help de-escalate tensions in Rivers, or would it deepen existing divisions?
Well, I think this judgment is good, and it will lessen tension, because how do you stop a state from accessing their funds? It happened to Lagos State, and we know how bad our people felt. And the current president of our country was the governor of Lagos State at the time, when Obasanjo unilaterally decided to seize the funds of Lagos State. The difference in this case is that some people decided to use the judiciary to stop the CBN from making Rivers State funds available to it. So there's a bit of a difference in that. And that was why the Accountant General was reluctant to release those funds, because he knew that there was a court order. And when a court order has not been vacated, the right thing to do is to obey it. He's always said that whether a court order is good or bad, whether it is favorable or unfavorable, you must first obey it and then take steps to set it aside. So the Accountant General, in my view, did not do anything wrong. The Accountant General showed respect to the court of law by refusing to release the funds. So now that judgment, that order has been set aside. That restraining order has been invalidated. Now I expect that the people who filed the action will not go to Supreme Court. They should just let sleeping dog lie. They should not take further action, so that the funds due to Rivers State and its people will be released to Rivers State, so that they can use it to develop their states. Punishing an entire state because of political differences is not what we want to see. There are other ways by which political differences can be resolved. I don't think that including a seizure of funds really makes sense. I don't think so. I'm happy that the courts have shown that, look, this is wrong. In any case, the matter was not properly filed. Once you don't file a matter properly, or the court lacks jurisdiction, the case cannot fly. So that's I believe that the tension will go down because I know so many people are angry that the funds were seized. And they kept talking about what happened to Lagos State during Asiwaju's time. So effectively now, that will be put to rest by the court decision. And as I said earlier, I do not expect Martin Amewule and Co. to appeal this judgment. They should just take it on the chin and let the governor of the state access the funds due to the state so that the funds can be used to develop the state.
That's right. Let me take some comments. The evangelist Julius Omorigbe says BKO had been saying this from the beginning, that only the judiciary will put an end to this matter. I believe that Rivers won't be like Edo State under Obaseki. House members should be complete. Olukayode Ayodele says, hope the supporters of Governor Fubara will not accuse judges or courts of corruption if there are judgments that do not go in favor of Governor Fubara. Justified says, Fubara will know the power of legislature when court affirms majority of the House Assembly. Banji Okesoto says, I only wish that those praising judiciary now will also summon the courage to praise them whenever it favors Wike, their enemies or the friends of their enemies. Well, before we go to the next, theme, what strategies should Governor Fubara now employ to consolidate his authority while maintaining governance as the focus?
Again, it should just focus on governance. I don't know what strategy it could use to consolidate on leadership. He should just focus. He should not distract himself. I hear him say some things and even contradicting himself because he's not an excellent speaker. Governor Fubara was condemning live coverages of road inauguration, project inauguration, and all that. He said that in some cases the funds used are not even sometimes even bigger than funds allocated to those projects. But he's doing the same thing. He's doing the same thing. He too is doing live coverage of events. He's copying his former boss. So why do you have the cheek to open your mouth and talk about what you are doing already? He also said that he will not. He also canceled the contract awarded to a loyalist of Governor Wike. I think that is petty. He shouldn't go that route just because and he said he doesn't want to empower an enemy. So he's growing more and more petty. He ought to just focus on developing the state and do less of politicking because I don't think he's even skillful that area. So let him treat every Rivers person as equal partakers in the Rivers project, rather than saying things that make absolutely no sense. You cannot copy Wike in every way. And some of the things that Wike was doing are not things that we even expect him to copy. So what will he gain? You are canceling a contract because you felt that person is not your supporter. You are, as a governor, you are governor to everybody. Not everybody can support you, everybody can be on your side. So, but you must be a governor for everyone. And some of those issues, you should overlook some of those issues. And just focus on his mandate. He's the governor of the state. He should stop distracting himself. He should focus on governance. That way,
Absolutely,
he will gain more and more support because people will see that this is a governor who knows what he's doing, who is focused on delivering the dividends of democracy for his people. But if he continues, he tries to be saying those nasty things, he will diminish himself. He will easily diminish himself.
All right, Biko. Let's go to the second leg of this conversation. In Abuja, the Senate's directive to the FCT minister to halt ongoing demolitions, has sparked debate about urban planning and the enforcement of development regulations. How important are these demolitions to Abuja's urban development? And do you think halting them send a wrong signal to encroachers, potentially worsening the issue of illegal settlements?
I think that as much as the FCT minister, Wike, wants to restore Abuja's master plan, he has to be careful in doing that. What people are saying is that he's revoking the title deeds of some property and reallocating to other people. If this is true, because I've seen some documents quoted, if this is true, it makes absolutely no sense. Nobody will talk about the fact that you are trying to restore the Abuja master plan. And one fact that I know from monitoring Nasir El-Rufai's attempt to restore Abuja's master plan was the fact that it is not every distortion to the master plan that you can correct. It is not every house built in breach of the master plan that you can redress. For example, Nasir El-Rufai told us that even Aso Rock, some parts of Aso Rock was in breach of the master plan. Now, will anybody in his right senses who has been made a minister roll bulldozers into Aso Rock and try to demolish some buildings inside Aso Rock? Who will do that? Where will he draw the power to do that from? Because that is the home of the president. El-Rufai told us. In Lagos, some skyscrapers were built on drainage channels. What Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu did was not simply to demolish those houses, because it cost so much to pull down a skyscraper. You have to do controlled demolition, pack the area with explosives that will bring down the building in a controlled manner. That costs a lot of money. So what he did was to simply punish people in the urban regional planning board who gave approvals for those houses to be built where they were built. I've even heard that even the Lagos Business School was also at some point considered for demolition. I heard that at the time. So, but it's not every building that you can remove. And I'm in alignment with the Senate when the Senate says stop all demolitions except the ones ordered by the courts. Let the Senate committee look at the matter and then take a decision. They are not our representatives for nothing. I'm not impressed with the minister saying no, even if the heavens will fall, it's going to demolish and all that. Let our representatives speak on the matter. Let them investigate the matter so that we can come to some agreement. No one is saying don't beautify the federal capital. But what people don't want to see is for you to cause people to lose their land, lose the property on their pieces of land, and then reallocate that to other people. that would be interpreted as land grabbing for the sake of yourself and your friends. So I support the idea that Wike should hold on a little bit, let the Senate look at the matter again, especially the areas where he plans to demolish structures, places where the courts have not mandated him to go and demolish. So I put myself in the positions of people who have spent so much money to put structures in place. They need they need uh, the authorities to hear from them rather than the minister just simply rolling bulldozers to such places and flattening their belongings. I think that at this point it needs to take it easy. We cannot take steps that would worsen poverty in our country. When people are caused to lose their shelter, what do they do next? Where do they rest their heads? It will worsen the problems that they are going through. So I think they initially looked at the Senate was not going to do something about this matter, but now that matter has been referred to the committee of the Senate. Now we expect the minister to hold on and stop this arrogant pronouncement that even if the heavens will fall, the demolitions will go on. It needs to stop that, or stop saying that. Let the Senate look at the matter, then a decision can be taken in the end. With the president not commenting on the matter, it will seem to me that Nyesom Wike has the backing of the president on this matter. But it doesn't matter whether he has the support of the president or not. He has to respect the Senate. The Senate has been very supportive of the president. The last thing that the Senate will want to see is for a minister of the Federal Republic, who is an appointee of the president, to disobey, to disregard, and diminish the Senate. That is not what they want to see. And if that continues, or if that is allowed to happen, it can compromise the good relationship between the National Assembly and the president.
All right. Right. Banji okay sort of says Wike should be left to do his work cautiously and in accordance with the laws of the land. Taiwo Odunlade says, very good evening to you, Ibrahim and BKO. God bless you guys. I think the statement by the minister was before the Senate agreed that they can only touch the ones that courts had given justice on, not judgment on, I guess that's what he's trying to say. Oluchukwu Clayton says, good evening, BKO and the anchor. With the Senate asking Wike to stop demolitions, what if Wike disobeys? What will happen? That's the question for you, BKO.
If it disobeys the Senate, then the president has to step in and bring him under control. No minister should disrespect the legislature, because the law permits them to do the oversight that they are doing. They were cleared to be ministers by the Senate. The Senate is there to try and moderate the actions of the executive and ensure that there are no excesses. So no minister is good enough or big enough to disregard the Senate, to disrespect the Senate. And if this should happen, then the president has to step in and call Nyesom Wike to order. Otherwise, the president will be putting the good relationship that he has with the National Assembly in jeopardy. And you cannot allow a minister to disrespect an organ of government that has given your government tremendous support. This is just my advice. Wike is not too big to be corrected. As a human being, he shouldn't see himself as infallible. He shouldn't see himself as someone whose actions cannot be questioned. It's only God that his actions cannot be questioned. So he needs to bear that in mind. I see mistakes that he makes all the time. You know, I know that by nature he's a very stubborn person. I also acknowledge his strengths and the good work that he's doing in the FCT, especially in the area of infrastructure. But he has to respect the National Assembly. There is no alternative to that. He has to respect the National Assembly. It's not bigger than the National Assembly. He has to respect the National Assembly.
That's right. Taiwo Odunlade says again, Wike would never disobey the Senate. He knows what he's enjoying through the Senate. Wike has good respect for the Senate. Well, so we say that's your opinion. You never can tell what Wike will do at the end of the day. But then let's have a closer reflection on both of the legs, both of the arms of the conversation we're having. That's the political development in Rivers and that of Abuja's directive. Now, the appeal court ruling in Rivers State and the ongoing debate about Abuja demolitions, talks about the tension between governance, legal institutions, and political maneuvering in Nigeria. So, in your view, BKO, how can Nigerian leaders navigate these challenges to prioritize development and public welfare? And especially, what role should the citizens and civil society organizations play in ensuring that political distractions do not derail governance? As we close.
Oh, it's up to the political leader, especially those of them occupying elective positions. They must realize that they are not going to be in office forever. They must focus on working for the people. And in this case, they are the only ones who can take a decision to not be distracted. Unfortunately, it's extremely easy to distract the Nigerian politician because rather than focus on his work, he gives so much attention to hangers on who do not mean well. He gives so much attention to what people are saying around him. Wike, for example, as I said, what was Wike's business responding to the Adeyanju? So as an older person, you must respect yourself. If you are self-respecting, it's not every comment that you have to reply. So the Adeyanju is too junior to the minister, for the minister to now openly be abusing him. So now look at the way Deji is abusing him like a little boy because he asked for it. Even me at my level, I'm not as big as the minister. I will not exchange words with Deji Adeyanju. I won't exchange words with him because by our culture, I'm not his age mate. So when you are abusing somebody much younger than you, you are inviting disrespect for yourself. And no distraction is bigger than that. Whatever Wike is achieving, I know that I can achieve a lot more if he focuses more on the job rather than getting himself distracted. The civil society organizations, they must continue to put our leaders on their toes so that these leaders will know that they are not just going to have an easy ride. They will be held accountable. Every step that they are taking, civil society organizations must be watching, and where necessary, they must be called to account. This is how to build a nation that works. If we simply leave our leaders to do what they like, and where we need to ask probing questions, we do not ask. As journalists, as civil society, we are not going to achieve the nation of our dreams because you've left politicians, you've left people holding elective positions to just do what they like. No. Democracy allows for checks and balances, and these checks and balances manifest in different ways. The ordinary man on the street also has the right to offer his own comments about how the government is running the show. If we have a situation in which you do not challenge our leaders, then we should not expect good governance. They will be so relaxed, they will not give their best because they believe that they are not responsible to anyone. We must remind them that they are responsible to us, and it is what we want that they should do. They didn't put themselves there. Anybody who is a product of an election knows that he has to serve the people. It's a contract, and you must honor your own side of the bargain. That is how I see things. Right. So if we do that, if everyone plays its role, then we'll have a much better country, a properly run country on our hand, a country where accountability is the order of the day. We need that. We need that. We are not getting enough of that. We need that. At every level, there has to be accountability. There has to be true service. We need that. And the way to do it is for everybody to play its role, especially civil society, not collecting money from politicians and organizing useless protests in favor of anti-people policies. That's not what we want to see.
That's right. That's right. Let's take last two comments and then we close the show. Abuja people, according to a basic Okebe, says Abuja people will use court orders to frustrate anything we want to do. I hope the Senate looks into this matter faster, because if this matter is left for the judiciary, it will slow the good work. Taiwo Nani says again, I agree with BK on Wike's continuously responding to the likes of DG and the likes. Oluwase Ojeri says, yes, Wike needs to calm down. He's losing support and everything because he demonstrates no wisdom and diplomacy. Jide is right completely. Well, we just need to close the show. And that's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses. As always, PKO.
Thank you to our viewers for keeping the program so engaging. I like the feedback that we constantly get. We always learn from the opinions that our viewers express, because no one knows it all. This feedback helps us. It even helps the discourse. So we want you to keep those comments coming so that we can learn from one another. And I'm happy that one of them agree with me that Wike does not need to respond to everybody. Look at him responding to Ugochinyere. How old is Ugochinyere, the House of Reps member? Because Ugochinyere has literally decided to relocate to Port Harcourt. You are answering him. You don't have to answer him. Focus on your job. Why must you answer every answer to everything that they say about you? What kind of a leader does that? You know, if you are the president, will you also be behaving like that? How many people attack Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu now? How many times has he answered them? It's not practicable to answer everybody who is attacking you. And on this call, Wike really needs to grow up. You can't be attacking Ugochinyere talks. Even me, I will not answer Ugochinyere. You can't be answering everybody. It makes no sense. They diminish you before the whole world. They diminish you. Those who respect you, who like you, they cannot be happy to see people who are far younger just insulting you like a little boy. So he needs to understand that it makes no sense to answer everybody. Tomorrow, if a 20-year-old boy gets up to abuse, he will want to reply the boy. Come on. You don't do that.
That's right. Okay, Taiwo Nani saying, thank you so much, Ibrahim and BKO. We love you guys. All right, we love every one of our contributors to on this show, and those who keep faith to us. We also invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks to you, to our audience, for keeping our company on every edition. You can see this program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media handles at TVC News NG. I'm also at Ibrahim_Shita. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.